Hello, it's Lion here with Hobbies and Man once again, and today we're going to be doing another first impressions review for a brand new series that just released. Today we're going to be looking at Jinrui-shuko, The Blight of Man, which is a series that you can follow for free on Manga Plus, on the Manga Plus app. And this one is some sort of suspense horror type story. It's written by Mitsuchi Yamoru, and the art is by Yuki Sato. And right off the bat, I don't think I like this. And it has nothing to do with the genre. I just didn't really find the storytelling to be that well done for me. But there's just a lot of things against this story to begin with. First of all, I'm not really a fan of horror. And it's not because it's scary, because usually when it's in manga format, I don't really find it scary. It is at best creepy. Although I don't like horror movies because they're scary. But horror is not a genre that I enjoy. But also, this didn't really feel clear. Like, it wasn't really sure what it wanted to do. And I didn't really like the art style. So, like, there's a lot of things against this. Like, a lot of reasons why I personally wouldn't like it. But that doesn't mean that others wouldn't like it, right? So, just to clear it up, it is a horror thriller type story. It is not really clear about what it wants to do yet, in my opinion, because I'm not really sure what character is the main character, what character is important, right? So we get introduced to three different kids, right? We get introduced to this kid called Seita, who is the kind of traditional, like, good boy. He's very nice. He's very popular. He's the guy that talks to everyone, even if, the other character that we follow, Hayato, is this kind of crummy loser kid that kind of sits in the corner and doesn't really want to talk to anyone, right? But Seita, being such a nice guy, eventually manages to crack this guy's shell, and they become friends, right? And Hayato has kind of bad luck, and he's someone that's very quiet, introverted, but also very shy, and honestly, he looks like he's abused, right? And all of the other kids also make fun of this guy, and so his problem gets compounded, right? But Seita is nice to Hayato, and they become friends, and they're very clearly best buds, right? The thing is that Hayato apparently can see ghosts the same way kind of Mariko-chan can, where he's just there and then things appear behind him and he has to try to act like they're not, concerning and stuff like that, right? And then we get introduced to a third character, who is this girl called Kaori-chan, who's actually very cute and very funny. She's a very, adorable character. And she happens to be some sort of occult lover. Like, she's really interested in creepypasta type stuff. And so these three characters interact, and Kaori is mostly just there to kind of give the impetus to Seita's kind of act of heroics that kind of ends up in a cliffhanger at the end of the chapter, right? Because Seita and Hayato are friends, and Seita knows that Hayato's home life is not that great. His mom actually happens to be a very angry woman, and once we meet Hayato and we follow him to his house, we see that his mom is an alcoholic, and she has, like, huge personality problems, and she probably has anger management issues as well, and she takes it out on Hayato. But he's learned that as long as he cries and shows her he's sorry, she's gonna, stop doing what she's doing to him. And so they clearly have this kind of, like, way of coping with their issue, even if it's not good, right? And we also see that there's this problem that's happening in the city where people just kind of turn into husks randomly. And we also see, thanks to Kaori, that sometimes the family members of these creatures, called Mamali-san, sometimes don't notice that these creatures have turned from human into these kind of mummified husks, right? And so Seita knows that Hayato has a rough life. Hayato goes home one day and ends up sick. And he ends up sick, and he can't go to school. And it actually takes him a long time to get back to school. Actually, he never actually makes it to school. And it's been like over a week, and Seita's worried. And then he hears the teachers talking about how Hayato's mom actually doesn't let them go into their house, and she doesn't want to interact with them, and she is very mean. And of course, Seita already knew this from the few times that he'd been over to Hayato's house. And so Hayato's worried. And then he remembers Kaori's conversation with him about the Mamali-san, phenomenon. And so he runs over to Hayato's house to see if his mother is one of these monsters, and if Hayato is okay. He gets there, and Hayato opens the door very scarily, and then tells Seita to go away. But he leaves him a little message in his hand that says "Help me," which forces Hayato to act, because he was trying to avoid the problem now that he had checked in and seen that Hayato was kind of okay. But since Hayato asked him for help, he has to go back to their house. And so Hayato pulls Seita in as his mom is walking in, and then holds Seita in front of him as his mom walks towards them with a knife. And it ends in this crazy cliffhanger where it looks like Hayato's mom is one of these Mamali-san characters. It seems like Hayato is actually a bad guy that's preparing Seita to be sacrificed to his mom. And, well, we don't know what happens. But by the end of it, I'm not really interested. I'm not really sure what any of these characters are doing. I don't really care about these characters. None of them seem interesting to me. And the mystery of, this weird-ass situation just doesn't work for me. So I didn't really find this story compelling enough for me to continue reading it. But, there were some elements here that were kind of interesting. First of all, it's cool that there's horror manga that's not just Junji Ito or Kazuo Omez. So that's cool. It's an interesting thing that is serialized weekly or monthly or whatever it may be. And, I'm curious to see how it goes. So that's all there is to it. That's Jinrui-shuko Blight of Man, but it's not one that I'm going to continue reading. So, if you guys do end up continuing to read this, let me know down in the comments if it's any good. And that's really all there is to say about this. So thank you guys very much for watching, and see you guys in the next video.